And welcome back to Hawkeye's House of Horrors. And today I'm going to bring a review for the sequel to Heavy Metal, and that is Heavy Metal 2000, released in, that's right, you guessed the right year. By this point, Kevin Eastman was the publisher of the Heavy Metal magazine. He had bought it back in 1992, and this was his film from Heavy Metal, and it's actually based on a story of his own as well. Now, I'm just going to say first off, definitely don't think it's as this film is as good as the original, and it seems that might be a consensus of people out there. But I'm certain there are fans of this film out there that much prefer this perhaps over the original. But I'm definitely going to go into certain things with review, things that I liked, and some things I didn't really like as well. Now, this film was directed by a couple of guys, Michael Cole Dewey. He did direct another cartoon as well. It was called The Fearless Four. Never seen that. I believe it was in the 90s as well. That one may have been more for the family. This certainly is an adult cartoon. As well as Michel Lemire. He was actually an animator in the original Heavy Metal film as well, so that's interesting. Now, it's based on the graphic novel The Melting Pot by Eastman, who, just to mention as well, was a co creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as Simon Bisley and Eric Talbot. Now, the screenplay to the film was done by R. Payne Cabine. This was, in fact, his only screenplay that they had ever written, as well as Carl Masick, who back in the day, I remember the show he did write for Robotech, and he may have been one of the creators of that show as well. Um, Along with them, they got the assistance, of Robert Jeffrion, John Minnis, Lorenzo Orzari, and George Ungar as well. They assisted them in putting together the screenplay. Now, this one, from what I can tell, was never released to theaters. It was straight to DVD and video back on July the 10th, 2000. Now, I failed to mention in the original review for Heavy Metal, so I'll just add it here as I go in with the budget for this film. The original had a budget of 9.3 million. In today's dollars, that's 2024. That would be $32.1 million budget. It made a good take at the box office, made 20.1 million. That would be $69.3 million today. So it doubled its budget, did well. Uh, you know, I think that's enough to maybe garner a sequel for sure. That's what happened. This film had a budget of $15 million, but when you convert it into today's dollars, it was a budget of 27.3 million. So it's a little smaller budget in comparison to the original. Now, I'm not sure what this film made on the video, like the market of rentals and sales for this film. I'm really not sure. So I wonder if it didn't make its money back at all. Um, but I'm not quite sure. If anybody knows, hey, don't hesitate. You can put it in the comments. I'm not really sure what this film made though. Now, like the original, this film follows suit much like the heavy metal comics. So therefore, it's heavy within graphic violence as well as sexuality and nudity. So uh, definitely for the adults and not for the kids. Now, this one is different as it is actually just one story, where the original film is a bunch of short stories put together. Now, the story that is told here, I actually find it, and I think others will too, rather derivative of the a story from the original heavy metal, and that one was of Terna. Um, Although certainly with this, it's a retelling of the story, but it's also an expansion. it opens things up. There's many more characters, many more worlds they go on to and stuff. So there is an expansion to it as well, which is nice um, as well. But to get just a little short synopsis of the film and the story, um, there is a chamber that contains this water of life that will give you immortality. You need the key to get at it though, and it's been thrown out into the stars and lost more or less. No one really knows where it is. Um, but a man finds it by the name of Tyler, voiced by Michael Ironside. Once he touches it, though, boom, he goes insane, like really extreme. Um, and he's on his way to this chamber to receive immortality because now he has got this key. Now I think Ironside does a really good job as the villain in this film, and he certainly is a plus to this. I really enjoyed his work in this. Now, along the way, after invading a planet named Eden, a sexy woman named Julie, voiced by Julie Strain, she was actually married to Eastman at the time this film came out. She's on her way to stop Tyler from succeeding and gaining immortality. So she's sort of uh, the hero of the story. Now, um, certainly like the original, we got some music in this end of the time. It was modern and certainly much more heavier than the original. It's got music just to give you an example of who, like Pantera, System of a Down, and Billy Idol, who actually voices the character Odin. I actually really think I really liked his song, and it might have been my favorite from the film. Um, Now, the animation to the film, unfortunately, it's a bit of a mixed bag to me. Um, it it appears smoother, crisper, um, and maybe a better looking animation at times. Um, but there seems to be a darkness, a tinge to it as well, and maybe that's fine. But it's not quite as bright, perhaps, as the original was in its colors. Now, there is as well some obvious computer animation, such as in the computer sequence, or sorry, the credit sequence using computer animation, or when Odin at the end of the film shows his true colors and is actually a villain himself. Um, it's obviously computer animation, and it's not good to me. Um, he actually looks like he uh, is on a badly animated uh, episode of the show Reboot. If anybody out there remembers that, uh, it doesn't work, and it doesn't mesh with the animation with the rest of the film as well. So I didn't like that. But the one scene I did really enjoy, and I thought that I felt like the film was really building its way up here is the scene where they're in the bar and Julie walks in and it's a bad scene as well, like what Tyler is doing. But luckily, Julie walks in and like starts shooting him. She thinks, okay, I'm just gonna kill this guy. She shoots him and then learns that this Tyler guy, it may not be quite an easy kill to get at this guy. I actually felt like there was it had a bit of for a few dollars more, the old Clint Eastwood Western. It almost had a ringing of that going on, which was cool because I totally love that old Western, but I thought that was a good scene. But unfortunately, the rest of the film doesn't really take another step beyond that that it needs to do. So, but there are some good scenes as well. But that's the one that kind of stood out to me in watching it this time. Um, Now the one scene I just It was rather disgusting, really, when Julie kisses Chartog. I think that was his name. He's a guy that says he can help her get across this river of lava. She just has to kiss him. So she does, and he like sticks his tongue right down her throat. It's really disgusting. If that's what they were going for, hey, it worked here. Um, but one thing the film does got though, it's got some humor, and it's put in there in good spots to help the film move along, and some of the humor is good. Um, but the one thing that I would say about the film is, and each time I've seen this, I may have seen this 4 times now. This film, and it may not be the last either, but um, there are a few slow spots in the film, and when I watch it, and these spots happen, my mind starts to wander, and it's like 5 minute spots where it's a little slow or not. The film isn't picking up speed, stuff like that. Um, it, it it hurts the film a bit when that happens. Now, as well, there was a video game released in the same year, 2000, on computer, and it's supposed to take place 30 years after this film takes place. And I think Julie is in that video game as well. Never played it. I saw some reviews. The reviews look like they're good, but that's an old school video game as well. But I definitely say this is a good film. It's not as good as the original Heavy Metal, but hey, that's my opinion. I think it's, if you like the original Heavy Metal, I'd say check it out. Give it a watch. Uh, if you don't like the original Heavy Metal, or you found it weird or didn't like it, I I'm not sure if you'll really grab onto this one either. So, but anyways, that was fun. Can't wait to do my next review. Hope to do that soon. But anyways, have yourself an excellent night.